You think patience is mercy. You think it's sitting quietly because you're afraid to act. But that's not patience. That's paralysis. Real patience is war. It's a blade you hide behind your back while the world laughs in your face. It's the long game, the cold game, the one where you bleed in silence so that when you finally move, nothing survives it. Everyone wants quick victories. They want to scream, to prove, to be seen. They confuse noise with power. You've done it too, rushed into battles just to show you weren't weak. And every time you ended up drained, humiliated, scattered. You mistook motion for progress. Now you're learning. You're learning the cruelty of restraint. To sit in the cage like the lion, eyes half closed, tail still, heart pounding slow. They stand outside the bars, calling you tame, broken, finished. You don't even look at them, because you know what they don't. Stillness is warning. The real war happens long before the strike. It happens in the waiting, in the nights when rage claws at your ribs and you don't feed it. In the mornings when you want to scream, but you swallow the words instead. That's patience. That's power, learning how to breathe. You start to see differently. You watch people waste themselves trying to prove they matter. They chase applause, explanations, apologies, like begging scraps from the same hands that hurt them. You stop needing any of that. You let them talk, let them celebrate, while you disappear. They think they've won because you've gone quiet. They don't understand that silence is a countdown. Patience isn't peace, it's pressure. It's holding every scream inside until it turns into calculation. It's burning slow instead of burning out. That's the part that breaks most people. They can't stand not knowing when to move. They can't stand being underestimated. So they react, and that's how they lose. You don't react anymore. You watch. You listen. You let them expose themselves. Every insult, every betrayal, every smirk becomes data. You catalog it, memorize it, store it in the quiet places of your mind. And one day, without announcement, you'll use it. Not for revenge, for balance. Because patience isn't about forgiving them. It's about building something bigger than their memory. You're not here to win the argument. You're here to rebuild the damn kingdom. That means disappearing. That means walking alone. That means learning how to breathe underwater while everyone else drowns in their own noise. They'll call you cold. They'll say you changed. Let them. They're not supposed to recognize you. Patience is the quiet refusal to die. It's waking up every day in the same hell and choosing to outlast it. It's grinding your teeth through the boredom, the betrayal, the endless repetition of nothing changing, because somewhere deep inside, you know this silence is shaping you. It's sanding down the weak edges, sharpening the steel. The lion doesn't roar to remind the forest who he is. He waits until it's time to eat. And when he moves, there's no warning, only aftermath. You stop explaining yourself. You stop arguing with fools. You let the echo of your absence do the talking. Patience teaches you that words are cheap, that noise fades, and that the real punishment is indifference. Nothing unsettles people more than being ignored by the one they thought they broke. They keep watching your cage, expecting you to snap, to roar, to beg. But you don't. You just stare back, calm, unreadable. And that's when fear sets in, because they realized you were never trapped. You were studying them. That's the brutality of patience. It's not kindness, it's control. It's the discipline to feel everything and show nothing. To know exactly how angry you are, how betrayed, how exhausted, and still sit there, hands steady, eyes forward. There's power in silence that shouting will never reach. Noise is for the insecure. Silence is for the ones who already decided. Long pause. The ticking stops. So stay still. Stay cold. Stay distant. Let the world think you're finished. Let them mistake quiet for defeat. You're not hiding. You're loading. And when the time comes, you won't need to announce it. The ground will shake. The air will shift. They'll look up and realize the cage is empty. You didn't break out. You outweighted the lock. The next breath is the last moment of stillness before you move.
Patience changes you. Not in the way people imagine. No peace, no enlightenment, just a hardening. At first, you keep waiting for the old fire to come back, for the rush that used to drive you. It doesn't. What comes instead is clarity. The noise quiets, the rage turns into shape. You start to see that all the time you thought you were standing still, you were actually rebuilding bone. The people who used you, who fed on your kindness, are gone now. They drifted off because you stopped feeding them with reaction. That's how dependence works. It dies when you stop bleeding for it. You used to think you needed closure, needed apologies. Now you see those were just ways to keep the wound open. You don't need them. You need distance. Distance is oxygen. You wake up in the same hell, but you don't curse it anymore. You treat it like a gym. Pain becomes repetition. Every hour you endure is another rep. Every insult is a weight. You lift it quietly until your silence starts to glow. And they feel it. They always do. The ones who thought you'd break start checking for you in the shadows. They can't help it. They remember your noise, and now the absence of it haunts them. They start asking where you went, what you're doing, but you don't answer. You're done explaining yourself to people who never listened. Let the unknown eat at them. Let silence do what revenge never could. That's the secret of patience. Its revenge requires no effort. You don't chase them. You don't argue. You don't prove. You just evolve somewhere they can't reach. They'll remember the last version of you, the one who shouted, who begged, who cared. They'll look for that version and find nothing but quiet. That quiet will terrify them. Because patience is disappearance with purpose. It's the art of vanishing without leaving proof. You don't slam doors. You erase the house. You don't block them. You become unfindable. You let them wander through the ruins of what they thought you were. That's the sound of them realizing they never mattered as much as they hoped. You stop wanting revenge because revenge is noisy and noise is for the weak. You start wanting peace, the cold, earned, untouchable kind, the kind that doesn't need witnesses. You learn that peace isn't given, it's built out of restraint, brick by brick, in silence. It's sleeping through the night without replaying their names. It's walking past what used to break you and not even feeling the pull. You become colder, but not cruel, smarter, but not distant. You just stop leaking energy on what doesn't return it. That's growth, conservation of fire. You burn only when it's time to move. There's a moment, you won't even notice it happening, when you realize you're free. You'll be somewhere ordinary, maybe making coffee, maybe tying your shoes, and it'll hit you. You don't hate them anymore. You don't even think about them. Their power was in your attention, and you reclaimed it. That's the final stage of patience, when the war ends because you stopped showing up to fight. They'll feel that too. The silence becomes a mirror. It forces them to face themselves, and they won't like what they see. They'll remember how they mocked you, how they thought your stillness was surrender. Now they realize it was strategy. You didn't retreat, you reloaded. The next time you appear, it won't be loud, it'll be simple. You'll walk in unrecognizable, and everything about you will say, I made it without you. You won't need to announce victory. Your presence will do it. That's what patience buys, an outcome so complete it doesn't need explanation. You stop measuring progress by applause. You measure it by quiet mornings, by how little you crave being understood, by how much you trust your own timing. Because that's all patience ever was, trust in your own timing. You waited, not because you were weak, but because you were exact. Because you knew storms don't last, but predators do. Now, when people ask what changed, you'll just smile. They'll call you calm, mature, distant. They won't see the war you survived to look this peaceful. They'll see a crown, not the ashes it was built from. That's fine. Let them believe patience made you gentle. You and I know it made you dangerous. And long silence. A clock resumes ticking. So stay quiet, stay measured, stay gone until it's time to arrive. The world will keep talking, keep doubting, keep spinning in circles. You'll keep building in straight lines. One day they'll realize they were making noise while you were making history. When that happens, you won't feel triumph. You'll feel nothing. And that nothing, that steady, unbothered nothing, is peace. The kind that can't be taken. The kind you earned by waiting. Patience was never the absence of action. It was preparation. The stillness before the strike, the breath before the roar, the quiet before the crown. And now the silence speaks for you. Let it end.